What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And finally, Josh Norman has been released. Thank God. On to the next thing. Guy was costing us too much money. Guy was a big major problem on defense. Then on top of that, I don't understand why we never deactivated the guy. He wasn't even playing. Thank God Josh Norman is gone. Also gone is Paul Richardson, the wide receiver that even before we signed him, I said that he was not worth us signing him. It was the dumbest move that could be made. He didn't pan out. We knew he was not going to pan out because why? In Seattle, he was like their third or fourth option. We signed him to a massive deal and he wasn't even worth it. Glad both of them are gone. They did not release Jordan Reed, which is the other guy that needs to be released. Understand that he's not going to retire. Most people think that he's going to retire. He's not going to retire because there's ramifications for him if he retires versus being released. He still gets paid if he's released. So again, like I said, big thing, Josh Norman is gone. Now, I will say this. We just had the situation with Quentin Dunbar recently. Now, along with that, I wonder how much Quentin Dunbar knew that Josh Norman was going to be released. But again, when you think about both of them, Quentin Dunbar and Josh Norman, their stats are actually very similar if you look at some of their stats. The only stat that isn't similar is the stat where quarterbacks average, their quarterback completion rate on Josh Norman is 133%. That is the most insane stat you could ever see. So that's the only thing that you sit up there and you say, oh, okay, that's their only thing. But when you look across their stats, Josh Norman played in 12 games, started 8. Quentin Dunbar played in 11 games, started 11. Josh Norman had 2 takeaways. Quentin Dunbar had 4 takeaways. Josh Norman had 33 tackles. Quentin Dunbar had 31 tackles. I mean, they both basically had similar stats. The only thing that was different was the fact that when a quarterback threw to Josh Norman's side, we knew just from looking at the TV that they were going to complete it. The fact that it's only at 133% is incredible because I would have banked it at 1,000% because he would get burned all the time. I mean, for us to have spent the type of money that we did on Josh Norman, understand that not only was he the highest paid cornerback in the league, there were no other cornerbacks that was close to him in comparison to salary. Like, I think that I saw somewhere some of the cornerbacks, they were making around maybe 12, 13 million. Josh Norman is up there making 15 million. And he wasn't even nowhere near the best cornerback in the league. Then, this is something that I hate about former players that are now analysts. They all sit up there and say, well, you shouldn't have brought Josh Norman in because you had him play man defense. He's a zone cover corner. Why would you bring him in and not, do the best thing to put him in the best position? I don't give a damn what type of scheme player he is. If we're paying you $17 million a year, you should be able to play any defense. Zone, man, whatever. Hell, I mean, you should be able to defend the water cooler if it's moving somewhere at $17 million a year. People need to understand this. Every time we turn around, there's always a thing about a player fitting a scheme or this player, it seems you can't. If a player is a scheme player, then he can't be considered the best in the league. We saw this years ago with I think his name was Nnamdi Asomugha. I think that's what his name was. He was the cornerback for the Raiders. He was a great cornerback, and then he was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was just awful in Philadelphia. And they came to find out, they were talking about, oh, he was a zone corner and he wasn't a man coverage corner. What? How does that make any sense? If you're in the NFL, you know that this is a turnaround league. A lot of coaches don't stay in the same places. A lot of defensive coordinators don't stay in the same places. And a lot of coaches change their schemes or come in with different schemes. If every single time a new coach came in and you have to release players based on the fact that you don't run that scheme, do you know how many teams would be in freaking free agency hell? Because understand this, or salary cap hell, because of the fact that you can't basically have a bunch of players on your team that are skill driven and scheme and are only good because they fit a particular scheme. If this is the case, if you got players that are only good because they fit the scheme, and you all of a sudden change coaches, one or two things have to happen. You have to keep the coaches you have so this player's career can last as long as it can, or you have to release the player as soon as the coach is fired. Do you know how insane that would be? Especially when you got coaches who get fired in 1 year? Come on, y'all, man. I mean, this is just crazy. We just saw it recently with the quarterback Josh Rosen. Even though he's not that good, 1 year released from the Arizona Cardinals, they bring in another quarterback along with a coach, and the coach wanted a guy who can run his offense. Man, this is bad. This is bad. But back to better news again. Like I said, Josh Norman is gone. Josh Norman is out of here. I'm just glad. I'm happy. We got some money on the books. Like I said again, I will put a link in the. I'll put a link in the description of the players we should go after in free agency. An announcement was just made by one of the players that I wanted, that the Browns are gonna start negotiating with this guy. Hopefully we can get him before he negotiates with. Hopefully we can get him before the money gets out of hand with him negotiating with the Browns. But we'll definitely see. Other than that, man, I'm happy Josh Norman is gone. I'm happy Paul Richardson is gone. Jordan Reed is going to have to go. Vernon Davis retired. Yeah, we're getting on the right path. I'm excited about it. Still a little sketchy because of the fact that we still have Dan Snyder, Fan Snyder, as our owner. So still a little worried about that. Still a little sketchy about that. But everything looks to be panning out in free agency. Maybe we'll become the champions of the offseason again. Hope not. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.